Characteristic of globalization. According to Tupper.com, globalization refers to the integrations between people, companies, and governments. Most of noteworthy, this integration occurs on a global scale. Furthermore, it is the process of expanding the business all over the world. In globalizations, many business expands globally and assume an international image. Consequently, there is a requirement for huge investment to develop international companies. The main characteristics of globalization are stated below. Liberalizations. The freedom of the industrialist businessman to establish industry, trade, or commerce either in his country or abroad. Free exchange of capital, goods, service, and technologies between countries. 2. Free trade. Free trade between countries, absence of excessive governmental control over trade. 3. Globalization of economic activities. Control of economic activities by domestic market and international market. Coordination of national economy and world economy. Number 4. Connectivity. Localities being connected with the world by breaking national boundaries, forging of links between one society and another, and between one country and another through international transmission of knowledge, literature, technology, culture, and information. 5. Borderless globe. Breaking of national barriers and creation of interconnectedness. The ideal of borderless globe actuated by Nietzsche Omen. As a result, a global civil society, though yet not fully developed, has come into being, but a global state is a distant thing. The UN and its affiliated organizations, which could have been the foundation of a global state, have been weakened by many forces, including globalization. Advantages of globalization. As the globalization persisted into our economy, it have advantage that gives an impact to the country itself. Based from the study of the Harvard Business School online, the advantages of globalization are the following. First, economic growth. It's widely believed that increased globalization leads to greater economic growth for all parties. There are several reasons why this might be the case, including access to labor. Globalizations give all nations access to a wide labor pool. Developing nations with a shortage of knowledge workers might, for example, import labor to kickstart industry, while their nations, on the other hand, might outsource low-skilled work to developing nations with a lower cost of living to reduce the cost of goods sold and pass those savings on to the customer. Second, access to jobs. This point is directly related to the labor. Through globalizations, the developing nations often gain access to jobs in the form of work that's been outsourced by wealthier nations. While there are potential pitfalls to this, see disproportionate growth below. This work can significantly contribute to the local economy. 3. Access to resources. One of the primary reasons nations trade is to gain access to resources they otherwise would not have without this flow of resources across borders. Many modern luxuries would be impossible to manufacture or produce. Smartphones, for example, are dependent on rare earth metals found in limited areas around the world. The ability for nations to specialize global and regional cooperations allow nations to heavily lean into their economic strength, knowing they can trade product for other resources. An example is a tropical nation that is specialized in exporting a certain fruit. It's been shown that when nations specialize in the production of goods or service in which they have an advantage, trade benefits both parties. The second, increase global cooperations. For a globalized economy to exist, nations must be willing to put their differences aside and work together. Due to this increased globalization has been linked to a reduction to not an elimination of conflict. Of course, as long as there have been nations, they've been connected with each other through the exchange of labor force through war and conquest, and this threat has never gone away. Reinhard say it global business. The conventional wisdom has been that the increased intensity of these other flows, goods, service, capital, people, and so on have only reduced the probability that the world nation will fall back into the catastrophe of war. 3. Increase cross-border investment. According to the course Global Business, globalization has led to the increase in cross-border investment. At the macroeconomic level, this international investment has been shown to enhance welfare on both sides of the equation. The country that has the source of the capital benefits because it can often earn a higher return abroad than domestically the country that receives the inflow of capital benefits because that capital contributes to investment and therefore to productivity. Foreign investment also often comes with or in the form of technology, know-how or access to distribution channels that can help the recipient nations. Effects of globalization in language use and communications. With globalizations allowing language and their cultures to spread and dominate on a global scale, it also leads to the extinctions of others' language and cultures. It has something to do for people that travel and emphasizing with the foreign truth local transactions, which inherent into the society. Globalization and English language are said to work as pull factors for one another. English language plays a major role in the progress of globalizations of trade and commerce, increasing diversities of workforce with different setup. Values have increased the importance of English language usage. 40% of the world's 7,000 languages at the risk of disappearing according to estimates by the Endangered Language Project. That trend is linked to economic globalization as suggested by New York published in Proceeding of the Royal Society B. In addition to that, the people as a whole in the world of globalization really affects the language with essential value in communicating across the country.